welcome back for session 3 of Arranmore Arts Virtual Theater Camp Jam. So, as usual, I am your camp counselor, Miss Lara, and today we are going to dive into some of the things that happen behind the scenes to make a production come to life. What are some of the other jobs you can think of aside from acting and singing and dancing? There are things like costume designers and set designers, lighting designers, there are sound designers, there are even things like props and wigs and makeup and everything that goes into bringing a production to life. So these are some of the things that you're going to want to think about as you are putting your living room production together. One of the things that I love is when I go into first rehearsal and all the designers get up and they show us sketches and ideas about their work. The set designer usually comes in and has a model of the set so you can see exactly what it looks like, where all the entrances and exits are going to be, and just what the whole feel and mood of the world is going to look like. And then the costume designer has sketches, and it's just really, really cool to see that stuff happen. Now, as part of your creative process, this brings us to an official assignment. So one of your official assignments for today is to think about the world of your production. You've kind of got an idea of what you want to do now and what the feel is going to be and the style. So I want you to just hang out with a sketch pad and a pencil, or as creative as you want to get. You can do watercolors, you can do painting, however you want to bring it to life, but just sit down and make some sketches of what you think your world is going to look like, what the characters might dress like, what the setting might be, and just have a great time with that. I know some of you out there really like to draw, so this will be a good chance to put your drawing skills to use, okay? So that is part 1. Oh, let me show you some of the cool sketches and ideas that have come from designers that I know out in the professional world. Take a look at this. Pretty cool stuff, right? Okay, now we are going to check in with another guest artist who's going to take us a little bit deeper into the world of ideas on how to play with costume and hair and makeup, and it even gets into some acting ideas. Take it away, Ariel.
Hi there, my name is Ariel Itana Triunfo, and I'm going to talk about how cosplay has been such an inspiration for me as an artist. If you're not familiar with the term, cosplay is basically a combination of the words costume and play, or costume play. It's a way for people to portray the characters that they love from history, fiction, movies, TV shows, books, pretty much anything you can think of. However, as an actor, I do use cosplay as a way to explore different kinds of characterizations, different styles of speaking, of holding myself, and I find it really fun to get into a different character. Today I chose to cosplay Evangeline from the Disney movie Princess and the Frog. Although Evangeline is never really shown in the movie, I wanted to create kind of my own version of her. That's another cool thing about cosplay. You can put your own spin on the characters you love. Cosplay is for everyone, and that includes people with low budgets. What I'm wearing today, I put together from a dress that I thrifted a few years ago, makeup that I had from old performances, and a headband and earrings that I got online. Now, I don't have any costuming skills yet beyond basic hand sewing and machine sewing, but cosplaying has inspired me to look more into the costuming side of things and figure out different ways to costume a character or think about how I want a character to look. As a performer, I don't always get the opportunity to see a lot of the work that goes into producing the beautiful costumes you see on stage. And as a cosplayer, I've definitely found a new appreciation for everything they do. I hope to use some of this extra time that we have to learn more about costuming and develop some new creative skills. As a performer, I believe it's really important to learn new skills because you get a better understanding of everything that goes into putting a show together. When I'm not able to perform, I can develop my other skills and maybe even get a job out of it someday. I love performing, I love being an artist, I love cosplaying, and I love learning new things. I hope you learned something new today, and I wish you the best of luck in all your adventures. Goodbye for now. From yours truly, Mabel Evangeline.
Ah, she's so dreamy looking, right? So fun. Okay, which leads me to, you guessed it, an official assignment. So this official assignment is super easy. You're just gonna cosplay one of your favorite characters from a story or a movie or whatever you can think of. Your favorite fictional character. I want you to just get into that world and make yourself feel like you're that character. And it's a great way to practice your acting as well, because you can kind of get into somebody else's skin and pretend what it would be like to be them. So that is your official assignment. Just find a character that you love and do some cosplay. So the next thing that we have coming up is one of our awesome guest artist appearances. I would like to introduce my friend Peter Sipla, who is a Chicago actor. He is super talented, and he is here to give us an introduction to Shakespeare.
Hi, I'm Peter, and I'm going to tell you about a special kind of storytelling. Now, this type of storytelling is called Shakespearean, named after one of the most famous writers in all the English language, William Shakespeare. Now, William Shakespeare wrote in what is called the Elizabethan times. Now, that's referring to the time period under Elizabeth I, who ruled England. Now, this time period was the mid to late 1500s through the early 1600s. And back then, they also spoke English, but they used a slightly different way of using English. So in the Old to what's considered Middle English times, they would use words like thou, thee, thy, and thine instead of you and your. So, to use it in a simple sentence that we would say today, you have told me that your cat is scratching up your sofa. I feel sorry for you. Now, if we replace those with thys and thines and the like, you'll hear it like this. Thou hast told me that thy cat is scratching up thine own sofa. I feel sorry for thee. So you can have fun making your own stories, switching out the yous and the yours for the these, thous, and thy, and thine. Now, I'm going to show you in one of Shakespeare's most famous plays, with the help of my big Shakespeare book here, a scene that has Lord Polonius coming up to his son and daughter, Laertes and Ophelia. Now, this takes place in Act 1, Scene 3 of the tragedy of Hamlet, which you probably have heard about. Now, as Lord Polonius comes up to his chatting children, he realizes that Laertes should already have left to head back to France. Now, as many parents do, they like to impart some sage wisdom before you go off on a travel or adventure. So, Lord Polonius gives his son a bunch of advice, including things like never borrow or lend money from friends because it could complicate those relationships. Always listen more than you talk, and don't pick fights. And he tops it all off with this. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. So, to convert that to our modern English, this above all, so this thing, more importantly than everything else I've told you thus far, to thine own self be true. Or if we swap those to say, be true to thine own self, and as we know, thine means your, so be true to yourself. So again, this above everything else I've said, be true to yourself, and it must follow, so it will naturally follow as the night the day. Thou canst not then be false to any man. You canst not, then be false or lie or dishonest to anybody else. So above all, be true to yourself and everything else will follow. So now you know how to use thee, thou, thy, and thine in your own storytelling. So you can make up your own Elizabethan or Shakespearean style stories at home. Or, as our friend William Shakespeare would put it, now thee, thou, thy, and thine useth thou can.
Thank you, Peter. That was super cool. You guys, talking like Shakespeare is really fun. And this brings me to, wait for it, you ready? An official assignment! Actually, there are two parts to this official assignment. So we're going to play around with all the ways that you can make dialogue a little fancier. And one of those ways is, like Peter talked about, changing out some of the words, the yous and the yours for these and thous and stuff like that to make it Shakespearean. Another thing you can do is use a thesaurus. Now, a thesaurus is either a book, an actual book, or you can find one online at thesaurus.com. And in a thesaurus, you find different ways to say words. So one word can have other words that mean the same as that word. Does that make sense? So a word like happy could also be joyous or gleeful. And those sound fancier than just happy, right? So that's part one. You're going to get your thesaurus ready, and you're going to have your key of how to replace some of those Shakespearean words. And I want you to find a scene of dialogue between a couple of people. And it can be either a scene that you make up, it can be a conversation you heard earlier in the day in your household, it can be out of a book, it can be something that you see on TV, out of your favorite movie, but just take like a short little clip of dialogue. And what we like to say is elevate the dialogue, make it fancy. So you're going to make it a little Shakespearean. Trade out some of those yous and yours for these and thous, and make the happies gleeful, and see what ways you can come up with to make that dialogue super fancy. And then see if that's something that you want to use in your project. And maybe it isn't. Maybe it's just a fun exercise. But that is your official assignment, to shake things up, or shakes things up, as Shakespeare might have said. Okay, it is time for another interview. I thought it would be cool to check in with somebody who's in college right now for theater and kind of see what they're up to and what they're learning and how they got started in theater. And the cool thing is, this person is also our intern here at Arranmore Arts. So he can talk a little bit about what it means to be an intern, which is really a job that is a bunch of jobs all in one and a great way to learn and get some experience. So let's see what happened when I sat down and chatted with Caleb. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Caleb Swick, who is our intern, and I explained a little bit about how the intern job works and what they do, but what I didn't tell you is I never actually interviewed Caleb for this job. It's true. Caleb sent me his resume after doing a little job for us and said, hey, I would really love to learn more. How do I get involved? And I just said, okay, cool. But I thought maybe now would be a good time to conduct an actual interview. So, hi, tell me your name and how old you are.
I'm Caleb Swick, and I'm 21 years old.
Oh, okay. And are you in school right now? What's your situation there?
Yes, I'm going to North Central College. I'm a musical theater and theater major.
So, tell us a little bit about how old you were when you got interested in theater, and how you got started with theater and acting.
Yeah, I had in fourth grade, my teacher loved drama, and so we did several different skits during class, and I loved it then. But my first actual show was in fifth grade. I was in the children's choir of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat with my community theater.
I heard you have a really cool, fun face warm-up that you can teach us all how to do.
Yes, so it's called Lion and Mouse, and it's to warm up the different parts of your face and just leave room for expression as you do acting and such. The first one is Lion, where basically you're trying to widen up your face as much as you can. So it's like this, where you go.
I like that.
Yes, perfect. And then the mouse is you make your face as tiny as you can.
Okay.
And usually the noise is, so it's like. And
Okay.
so you usually switch between the two to just
okay.
get used to switching facial expressions and such.
All right. Well, then everybody, let's all try this together with Caleb. And I'm going to do this, and all of us are going to do this as well. Ready? So Caleb, you call out which one we're going to do when, okay?
Okay.
Here we go.
Lion. Mouse. Lion. Mouse. Lion. Mouse.
That's good. That's fun. I have a game to play with you now that the kids can also play at home. And if you have a partner like I have with Caleb, you can play this back and forth with each other. And if you don't have someone, what you can do is you can take different emotions or ideas and you can write them down on little pieces of paper and you can throw them into a basket or a hat or a bowl or whatever you have handy. And you can pick them out and then quick do the expression in the mirror without thinking about it. We want to learn how to let our faces reflect what we're feeling inside. So doing the lion and the mouse warm-up is a great way to get ready to do that. So we're just going to pass some ideas and some emotions back and forth. Like I'm going to tell Caleb to look sad. And then he'll tell me to show something.
Look excited.
See a scary monster. Good.
Look joyful.
Somebody just told you that you won $1 million and a puppy.
That sounds great.
So tell me a little bit about why you wanted to work as an intern and what kind of things you have done on the job and why you think it's important to do things like internships.
I had ended up looking up Arranmore Arts more. Mm-hmm. And I had seen several of the performances, and I had known Garrett Lutz had gone to North Central. And so I saw him in a picture, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, these are awesome actors working on these shows. Like, I would love to be involved somehow. And so I remember emailing you and just being like, why not? Why not send an email? And
yeah, you have to take
definitely
chances.
Worked out great.
Take chances sometimes, right? Okay, so what are some of the things that you have learned through your job as an intern?
I feel like I've gotten to learn so many different just things because it started where I was going to be like understudying and stage managing a show. Mm-hmm. And then I remember getting an email 3 weeks later being like, hey, want to do a show? And I was like, yes, of course. Oh my gosh. And so it was cool getting to have that acting experience. And I had never worked with professional actors before. Mm-hmm. And so I was very lucky with the castmates I had during those processes. And they were so welcoming and great. And it was so cool learning from them, just hearing some inside stuff even to do with the industry that like I'm not going to hear from a college professor.
Yep.
And that was great. And then after that, I was able to stage manage and even just help out. Like one of the most beneficial things I feel like was monitoring auditions.
Yeah.
Because I had never realized how many things you shouldn't do in an audition.
Sure.
And it's just like seeing other people and just the nerves and all that. And then realizing that behind the table, it's not that stressful. It's
No,
so
and it's super fun, and we all want everybody to do really well, and there's no reason to be nervous when you walk in the room.
Right. I mean, I saw so many people go into that room and be themselves, and they were the ones who actually stood out.
Absolutely. And I think that's, we've talked about this in the other video segments. This is something we talk about a lot, right? You're starting to catch a theme probably. Just really be yourself, because what makes everybody different and unique is all of those special, weird little things about you that make you who you are, right? So you stand out from a crowd because you're different and you're unique. So that's really, really important to be yourself. And I think that Caleb made some really good points too, right? About how when you get a chance to work with professionals, you kind of see, if you go see theater and there's a theater that you really like and you really are impressed by the people that are on stage, or you feel like they're doing really cool shows that you'd like to do, don't be afraid to reach out to that company as you get older, especially, I know some of our kids are going to be a lot younger, but especially those of you that are in grade school, middle school, heading into high school, there are all sorts of really great opportunities to go work with professional companies. And that is really going to help you like up your game. So it's really, really good advice, Caleb. Thank you very much. That was so much fun chatting with Caleb and learning about the lion and the mouse exercise. Those are really great ways that you can just incorporate some little exercises into your daily routine to keep your muscles moving and think about new ways that you can use your body and your face to make expressions. Which leads me to our next official assignment. Yep, you are going to play the face game that Caleb and I played. And like I said, you can just write down different expressions or thoughts or feelings or ideas on a little piece of paper and then throw them into your hat or your bowl or your basket or whatever you've got. And then if you're playing by yourself, it's great. You can just do the faces in a mirror. You can video them so you can watch them back. If you have two people, you can go back and forth like Caleb and I did. And you can even do this in a circle with more than two people. It's super, super fun. Okay? But either way, just make the biggest faces you can, go for it, and have an awesome time. Alrighty, well that is gonna do it for session number 3. We covered a lot of ground today, right? So let's recap what your official assignments are so that you have some fun things to do during the week. Okay. Number 1, you're going to think about the world that you want to create, and you're going to do sketches. Come up with some really cool sketches. You can either just do pencil sketches or ink sketches, paint, whatever you want to do. So just have some fun playing around with the artistic side of things from a visual standpoint. Okay? Next, cosplay. You're going to pick a character that really speaks to you and inspires you in some way. It can be a character from history or from a book or from a movie, whatever you want. Just come up with a cool character that you think would be fun to portray and have a little fun with some cosplay. Then the third official assignment is to find a thesaurus. You're going to explore different ways to make different words sound the way you want them to, so that you can either elevate the language or, on the other hand, you can make things more casual as well. But we're going to make things fancy because the second part of that official assignment was to do your shake it up or shakes it up and take a scene of dialogue, just a short one, and turn it into Shakespearean dialogue by replacing the yous and the yours with the these and the thous, and maybe even using that thesaurus to make some of the words fancier. And then finally, your last official assignment was what we learned from Caleb. You're going to practice your lion and your mouse face exercises and get your face all warmed up. And then you are going to play the face game. and you can always rewind the video and you can pause it, you can take notes. And if you have any questions, you can throw them in the comments section over here, because I'm actually here live too, so I can answer any questions that you might have and give you other ideas. So I will hang out in the comments for a little bit so that we can chat if you want to. And we would love to see what you guys are doing. So if you create any videos or any sketches or pictures you want to show us, please feel free to drop them off on the Arranmore Arts Facebook page, and we'll give you that link. Or you can do it on the organization sponsor page as well. So whatever organization is sponsoring the virtual theater camp, you can share it with them, tag us, tag them, tag yourselves, whatever. Art is meant to be shared, so we can't wait to see what you create this week. Have fun, guys. We'll see you next week.